So, the time has come. This is the day, well, the day that I've been waiting for, to finally answer the question, is the mighty 980 done for in 2020? So those who actually follow my channel knows that I've been using my 980 to bench and play pretty much every game I have and the games I don't have in full HD, sometimes just for sake of fun, putting them in 4K. However, technology has progressed way further down. So, to my surprise, one of my subscribers, which is the Sempak Bamboo, actually decided to do a little upgrade on his own side while he's waiting for 3080, which is of course scalped and not available. So, just for fun, he got this 2080, and as you can see, this is still sealed, nothing has actually been done with it. And he sent it to me and said, you know what, just bench it a bit, just to see if it's actually worth upgrading. I know a lot of guys are actually sitting on 980s. That was amazing flagship card back in the day. It's actually 2014, and they thought, you know what, there's so many good things about this card. The 980 just kept on giving. There was 980 Ti and all the good stuff, but it's 2020, it's 6 years old. Can it compete, or is it actually worth upgrading to something that is more pocket friendly? So like 1060, 1070, 1080, or just jump straight into the RTX powered 2000 series, if you can't get your hands on 3080, that is. However, I think it's time to finally see if it's good enough to be still in your rig. Keep it around, sell it, scrap it, whatever you want to do. Of course, I did actually print out a comparison between these cards. I mean, it goes without saying, this card is 114% faster in literally everything the 980 does. So I must say, I kind of think the 980 is defeated, at least by the spec sheet. We cannot really compare with the newer technologies, but let's see if it actually looks at least as good as the 980. So I'm gonna take my trustworthy unboxing knife and be very, very careful, because this card is not gonna stay with me. And I have to get it back in one piece, undamaged, not overclocked, not scratched, but just benched enough for my friend to actually use it, or whatever he wants to do with it. Oh, this moment is amazing. Come on. I must say, EVGA definitely takes a really good approach when it comes to packaging their products. It's like standing there as a monument of perfection and power, which of course will upset a lot of AMD users, but you know what, guys, you know how this goes, right? So we have some foam here that we need to take off and play Minecraft with. Okay, come on, out you come, out you come. It's packaged so nice, I'm actually not sure I'm doing this correctly, to be completely honest with you. So I'm just gonna take it a bit more hands-on approach. Well, the box actually is pretty heavy. It's literally a bit more, well, a bit less heavy than the GPU itself. However, let's now be very careful and put the sticker off and take a look at this beast. Out you go. Right, so for comparison's sake, this is our 980 and this is the 2080. Size-wise, I would say they are pretty much almost the same length. However, when it comes to actual width, we can see the EVGA has much bigger cooler, so this is basically like a 3-slot card. So if you want to see if your system will support 3080, well, this card will definitely be for you. Looks pretty decent, still uses 2x8 pin connectors, and the overall quality of the build is surprisingly good. There is of course some protective thingies here for the GPU. I'm surprised none of the ports are actually plugged. Usually the GPUs do have with some plastic covers for the ports themselves, but not this one. But who needs ports when you have power like this? in your hands. Okay, let's continue and let's try to just undress this beauty a bit. Come on off. There we go. Nice and easy, without any hassle. I think I'm gonna leave this peel on just for, you know, aesthetics. I mean, it will not impact any thermals, nothing at all. I mean, there's huge triple fan design here. So this nice plastic peel, it should actually stay on. It's not really necessary for me to take it off. So, you know what, guys? I think it's time to actually put this card in and see how it performs full HD and some select titles on 4K. But I'm not gonna do it alone. My trustworthy companion crab will lend me his power to do this task. Let's go. So hello, welcome back. So since we finally have the 2080 literally just laying on the table right in front of me here, I decided to do some actual direct comparisons between the two cards. And what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna play the game with my 980 first, all the settings maxed out, and then I'm gonna just swap the graphics card, do a clean NVIDIA driver reinstall, so no leftovers from the previous driver and stuff, just to see how and what it works. Now, the reason why I'm actually gonna be playing on maxed out settings with 980 is for the simple reason: if you are planning to upgrade your graphics card, you will want to see how much more better that new card is. So the only way to do it is to actually stress the old card and see what kind of results we will gonna get with the new card on exactly the same settings, because it would be pretty, I would say, unfair if I would just play Breakpoint, let's say, on high preset and, you know, turn off some ambient occlusion or subsurface scattering. It would not really, it doesn't really impact frames that much, but even if there's one frame impact and, you know, you just spent like almost £800 or $100 for a new card, you kind of want to see that bang for your buck, right? So here's the graphical settings I've just set up, just launched the game, didn't even test it out yet. Texture quality is on ultimate, resolution scaling is on 100. Obviously temporal injection anti-aliasing is turned on. I'm not going to use any foreground or background frame locks, I mean that is pretty obvious. And yeah, everything else is ultimate preset, so that's exactly what we're gonna go from here. So first off, we're gonna bench it. The reason is, as you know, I hate pretty much synthetic benchmarks because they rarely show the real game performance when you are actually playing by yourself. And I talked about it a lot, so I'm not gonna repeat myself. However, I'm a bit curious. As you saw, the GPU memory usage was already over 6 gigabytes. We only have 4 gigs to play with, so that extra gigs are coming out of my RAM. I do have a DDR4 and 16 gigs of RAM to spare. However, I think we will see some serious stutters and probably some artifacts as well. So here we are. Let me just, as you can see, there's a Toshiba TV because I'm playing on the TV, so there's no frame lock. That would be unfair. Everything looks fine and dandy. Ultimate screen space shadows, anti-soft on 16. Oh my god, this is gonna be pretty cool. And as you can see, so we're basically running at 6.4 gigs out of 4. Ouch. Let's run the bench and see how it goes. So this is not a Vulkan API, this is a DirectX 11 or 12 run. I mean, I think it's 11 run though. And so far, with the 980s, you can see, it's trying to cheat us in thinking we are actually hitting 50 frames. Are you... I would say this is pretty unrealistic. As you can see, my GPU is literally pegged out, like it's over 4 gigs. There's nothing more to squeeze out, and we are running at 10 gigs of RAM right now. So all the extra memory and information that needs to be swapped is basically stored in the RAM. I would say if this was DDR3 RAM, we would be roughly around 20, maybe 25 frames. And really, of course, depends on the CPU here. Right. However, again, this is what the game engine thinks in terms of synthetic benchmark. So I'm really curious how it's actually gonna perform on the real world gaming. So once this bench finishes, we're gonna just load into a game and we'll see how it runs. And after that, of course, I'm gonna just put in an actual footage from 2080 with the same exact settings for all the upcoming games. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Again, everyone is waiting for 3080 to be available for purchase again, or someone is looking straight up to AMD's side of things. Same goes for CPUs. The Ryzen 5000 is out. I don't know, people. I would of course tell you some things when it comes to choosing your CPU, but it all goes kind of like to personal preference and budget. So if you don't want to overspend on Intel and you think that AMD will clock better and it costs cheaper, yes, that is true. However, if you would actually scroll down on my channel, you would see that even an i7 2600 is actually pretty decent, and it's what, 2009 CPU. So I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I hate AMD, but I have this aftertaste of every AMD CPU I had my hands on. This weird microstutters and stuff, right? So I don't know. Call me an Intel fanboy, but when it comes to price and performance and how long you can squeeze out the same things from the same CPU, I can't really compete. I mean, I know some people are still rocking FX 8530, so, or 8350. Yeah, so score B, frames 45, GPU, oh, it's a CPU 35, GPU is 98%, and we only have 7,000 frames score. Oh my god, this is so bad, to be honest. I must say we are literally struggling here with this stuff. Anyway, so what we're gonna do is just launch the game. As you see, I'm not cutting the video because I'm not the person who's gonna cut the video, you know, just to adjust some settings and they say, oh, this is so amazing, oh, we're still playing an Ultimate, because that is just not how my channel works. If I see that the hardware is unable to run it anymore, I'm just gonna say it. Thanks for the run, but don't actually buy this anymore. Even if you get it for cheap, well, then play something else, not these particular games. So let's see how it looks like. Well, the loading times are not really that much different, to be honest. Actually goes pretty decent. This game is also loading from a hard drive, not an SSD. So that kind of contributes to the loading time as well. I wouldn't say it's too much, but still. So 30 frames. I mean, this would be literally the same as playing on 4K. I would expect about 30-35 frames, and if you are playing with this and everything is maxed out, I mean, that is not bad at all, is it? It's absolutely not bad at all. Okay, let's see if I can... Oh, that thing is pissed now. Very pissed. It's trying to find us. And it's smoking as well. There you go, bro. Oh god damn it, are you telling me that mortar actually gets this far? Oh man, this is so much fun. Like, watch the draw distance itself with these settings is pretty impressive though. It's not that bad, and also while there's no actual firefights where everyone is like lobbing grenades at us, it's also not really that bad. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, I was expecting much worse results. 40 frames, everything overmaxed? Huh. Surprised. not gonna lie, I am a bit surprised. And the internal bench CPU usage is not really doing too much. Frames 38. It sounds like murmurs in the area, which I really do not like at any given point in day. Oh, absolutely, those are the things. God damn it, man. That literally looks ominous as fuck. Right, anyway, so now we know how it looks. So it's time to plug in the 2080 and see. Will we be getting a better results? No idea how. Yeah, great. Well, that was pretty much nice for ending a video. Well, we did it with a bang. So here we go. 2080 next. So here we are with the GeForce 2080, and it's time to give Breakpoint a go. So as you saw on the previous video with 980, the benchmark gave us an average frames of 45 when everything was maxed out, and the frame score of 7740. Real world performance was in between 35 to 45 frames. So let's see what this graphics card will give us. So before we actually jump any more or any deeper in, let's double check that all the settings are actually still the same as we left them. And as you can see, we have 8 gigs of memory to play with. So all the goodies are on. I'm not gonna for frame lock the foreground or whatever. Fidelity sharpening preset is ultra. Everything is actually maxed out as much as I can. And that's pretty much all there is, which is a bit odd. I was kind of under impression this game does support RTX. Or maybe I was led astray, because I don't see a setting for it, and if there would be a place for it, that would be under graphics. However, well, I can't really say that I miss RTX. Never had it in the first place, so maybe I'm missing out on a big, huge bonus, or maybe not. However, we will see that when it comes to Metro, which will be the third game we're gonna test out. So yeah, so far, let's run the bench all maxed out, and let's see if this card will actually push past the 980. I mean, it's pretty obvious it will, but we need to be sure. We need to see if it actually worth to put your money down on a table, grab one of these cards, put it in your rig, and be happy about it. Let's double check. Obviously, my Toshiba TV thinks it's a monitor, but we're not bound by the laws of TV's refresh rate. And yeah, I see nothing in regards RTX. Oh well, so be it. Let's run the bench and see how it goes. And straight off the bat, we're in high 90s. Well, obviously this is just the opening sequence. Target to beat is 45 frames, but goddamn, I don't believe this card will actually drop down that low. Keep in mind, Ubisoft is not really the company that actually optimizes their games. They're kind of the company that hopes that every gamer will have such a killer system, it will just power through their bad code. And the list of games that actually relies on this logic is quite a few. Breakpoint, Wildlands, Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Unity, well, almost any Ubisoft game, apart from Far Cry, which is kind of surprising to be completely honest. But, I mean, Far Cry series, I believe, is actually made by a bit different Ubisoft, well, studios than the actual other games, but I would need to dig some things, but so far I'm not impressed by Ubisoft game performance. In comparison to this graphics card, which is literally smashing through it. I mean, we are already at 6000 frames rendered And we're only on the second pass, and here we go. The overall score for 980 was 7,700. We just passed it on the second segment in synthetic benchmark. Well, guess that speed actually gives you quite a big boost. Yeah, this is the future. I mean, this is not even the future, this is the past. This graphics card is 4 years older, well, 4 years younger than 980. And if we think about all the graphics cards that actually came after the 980, it's 980 Ti, it's the 1000 series, so 1060, 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti. Then we get into the 2000 card range, which is 2060, 2070, 2080 Super, 2080 Ti, and we are now in 3000 range, which is 3080-90, with rumors and apparently leaks that 3070 is also going to be there. And the 3000 series, at least 3080, smashes the scores of 2080 Ti, which was the highest, well, basically the highest shelf card you can possibly afford with money. So I must say the future looks great, and at this point we are already, yep, we are more than half over the frames rendered. 7,700 and we finished with what, 16? Impressive performance. Impressive. For a demanding title and badly optimized title, this is amazing score. Frames 100. That's over 100% gain, but this card, the 2080, it is 110% faster in literally everything. Lightning effects, rendering, draw distance, shading, shadows, literally everything that you can name. So I'm not entirely surprised, but it feels good. But again, I do not trust the synthetic benchmarks. So I think it's time for us to actually go inside the actual game and see how it performs. So the Ubisoft games are kind of famous about their micro stutters, so kind of like dropping the frame here and there or just going straight down to zero. One of the reasons why they implemented the Vulkan API, same that the Doom actually can use, and everyone with actually, you know, kind of feeling for it can switch over to that one. Gives a better set of instructions to GPU, reduces CPU load, you know, kind of like a very good, nice thing to have. I do not support it in my benchmarks. I want to see the game raw with all the bad or good code, and I don't know, maybe one day we will live in a world where good code is, you know, standard. So here we are. Let me just put the in-game bench in and see what it shows. So far it looks nice. What's up with those trees? Hold up, my nitpicking sense is tingling. Wait, is that a repurposed branch? Oh my god. Seriously, Ubisoft, look at this. This treetop is basically repurposed. That's basically what it means when you are just copy-pasting your trees all over the map. Can't really say I'm surprised. I would kind of hope just for game to not make it so obvious. Or maybe I'm just too nitpicky for it. And so far the performance is actually amazing. Before that, on real life Breakpoint, everything maxed out and being way over our memory limit, we were getting 35 to 45 frames. Now we're getting roughly what, 80 to 90? I mean, that is not bad at all. That is absolutely not bad at all. Well, the smoke effects still look shit, but that has nothing to do with the GPU. And the tree literally just almost spazzed into oblivion. And yeah, GPU load is pretty high, but I don't know why they actually paint it red. To be honest, I highly doubt, well, maybe in about 20 years it will be somewhere in the green down below. But so far this is very nice. Double check my guns here. Sorry for the weird cut. While actually trying to swap the weapons, I accidentally stopped the recording, so I had to restart it again. Or basically continue. That's kind of on me, obviously. But, I mean, the performance-wise, this is pretty nice. Okay, let's slide down this amazing hill, because that's his fetish. And we can see some volumetric fog here as well, kind of lingering around. All these shadows, all these real sun shafts and reflections is pretty nice. And since we are in heavily vegetated area, well, this definitely puts some strain on the GPU. The usage actually went up to 98%. And we're using 5.7 gigs of VRAM, which is a bit less than it was actually showing us with a 980. Frame-wise, everything maxed out, getting 80 in vegetated areas. I mean, this is an absolute win for this card. Even for a Ubisoft title, I guess you do need a 2080 to power through the bad code of Ubisoft, which is not bad at all. What? And there's no one to kill? Oh, someone already killed him. Oh, no, he's still alive. Hello. It only calls for armor-piercing rounds to see how it looks. And the frames didn't drop. I'm impressed. Are you impressed? Probably. Actually, you should, but it is how it is. I see a red patch. Let's go and say hello to it. Up close and personal, see if we get any of those nasty frame drops. Nothing really. Let's kill a bike, or maybe even two. La explosion. Well, we dropped 3 frames. Now we've dropped about 2 frames. Which in overall things, and that smoke looks just nasty. Oh my god, you can literally see how the art director was taking a day off. Jesus, that is the most fake smoke I've seen in my entire life. Is this what it means to play on Ultra? I could nitpick for days. Anyway, I think the point is proven. Absolutely. If you want to go and play this game, you just need to get 2080. It's simple as that. And on this note, we are moving on to the next title, which is Anthem. Another very badly optimized game, so let's take a look. Okay, so here we are again, and well, this time it's Anthem, obviously one of the unfinished or probably finished too early masterpieces here. So obviously we're gonna go here. Oh my god, that audio is just too much. Goodbye, go away. This is usually what happens when you try to record a game, you know, and well, you don't actually do anything about it, but hey, here we are. Anyway, time to take a look at the graphical settings here. So display settings, again, full HD, generic PNP monitor. You hear that, Toshiba? Your monitor now. Borderless. I don't want borderless, I want full screen. Huh. Is full screen like windowed? No. Full screen, okay. Vertical sync is off, obviously, so we have to apply the changes. This looks a bit odd. Anyway, right. Advanced. Onto our advanced graphics. As you can see, graphics quality is ultra. We are still with 980. And even while just browsing to the menu, we are using 2 gigs of video memory. Jesus Christ, how big are these letters? Oh my goodness. Right, let's go. Again, loading times, everything like that. Most of this information is actually processed by GPU because it kind of pre-renders all the scenes and stuff. So I don't know where I'm gonna wake up. Either it's gonna be in the map, in the fort, or wherever. Let's see how it all looks, feels, what the frames are doing or not doing. If the game crashes or doesn't crash. I mean, hey, there's so many variables. And we're gonna literally torture the poor 980 with only 4 gigs here. But again, it's for the name of science. God damn it, I love science. Well, I mean, this is not technically science, but technicalities, you know. Right, so loading. Of course, after this test, or well, the little numbers that will probably be around 25 frames a second will end, we will actually smash in 2080. Well, I almost said 980 Ti. And see how that performs. Technically, this game, I've seen a lot of guys were maxing out with different things, but hey. Oh my god, here we go. The first stutters. Well, it's actually not too bad. Oh my goodness, I did not know there's a fog here. What the hell? I'm legitimately surprised. I did do a comparison, but well, this game has been shelved for a couple months now, so maybe there's something new. Also, 52 frames, this is not bad at all. But this is enclosed environment, so we kind of need to go out. This is where the real fun begins. Oh yeah, getting some 30s and stuff like that. This is not actually too bad. This is actually really not too bad. What the hell? Right, whatever. Here's the javelin. Let's not waste any more time and let's go and start an expedition here. And let's see how the real world treats us. So everything outside the fort will be actually a lot of vegetation and a lot of, well, frame dropping elements. So here we are. We kind of need to do this for the science, boys and girls, and helicopters and anything else. So what I'm gonna do is probably go out and actually go straight down. I do believe there's some waterfalls and stuff, something that will definitely stress out the GPU. At the current recording date and time, I am running the latest NVIDIA's game driver, which does features the NVIDIA Reflex, but that is for 3000 series, so it does absolutely nothing. I can just see how that my reflexes are slowing down seeing these frames, but hey. Oh my god, we're using almost 12 gigs of RAM. What the hell is going on? Something has changed. I'm not sure why. I've never seen 12 gigs of RAM usage. Well, here we go. So GPU is what, hitting 3 gigs and the RAM is 12. Here goes my dream of having 16 gigs enough. Yeah. I think the days of having 32 gigs minimum is very, very close. But we're getting 70 frames on loading screen. This is very good. And here we are. Let's take a quick look.
I'll update you when I find a situation that needs your talents.
Okay, understood.
Wait, hold up. 50 frames? That is not bad at all. Right, you know what? Let's quickly double check if all the settings are actually maxed out. This feels very weird. Ultra, ultra, HBO, ultra, ultra, ultra. Huh, we're not... The vertical sync is definitely off. Yep, it's off. Huh. Pleasantly surprised. Okay, let's see how bad it is. Actually, it's not too bad. 40 frames. Everything maxed out. We're pulling 14 gigs of RAM. My goodness. What am I doing? I'm feeling like a madman. We're getting, what, like 60 frames? Okay, you know what? We need to go down in vegetation. That's our only way. Vegetation and water. And trees. 48. Here we go. Okay, let's see if we can actually find something. 40s. So we are in 40s. This is actually kind of expected. Doesn't really feel that bad. A bit of a... not even much input lag, but anyway. Right, here we go. There is water. Let's see how the frames actually crash into the ground together with myself. 13.9. Pretty nice, I must say. I was expecting kind of like 20 by seeing the fishes, but we're actually holding here. And this is on full HD, so this is full 1080p. Okay, large open spaces. Vegetation, let's fly close to the water so we can get that nice effect. Yes, there it is. kind of in below 40s. So the lowest was like what, 37 at one point? 53, god damn it, this is not bad at all. Huh. I'm pretty sure on my usual benchmark I wasn't actually getting this much. And considering everything is maxed out, and there's Riddick. Oh my god. Don't really want any Riddicks nearby me. So yeah, so the lowest we go is about 40. Which again, is not really that bad. Can I overheat over that water please so it looks epic as hell? Come on. Big splash, roughly 40. Okay. So 41, we're not actually dipping below 40, so this is... I think this is enough for our benchmark right now. I cannot wait to see how will the 2080 actually react to this madness. I call this a win. So let's take a look. Hello, here we are in Anthem, another forgotten title which been lagging and bugging out, and somehow I always end up with such titles because they're cheap on sale. And to be honest, the first thing I've noticed the moment actually this game screen loaded up is the CPU usage. Something is going on in the background, and even the graphics card is actually working. It's fully boosted at 95%, it's doing something. So before we go further in, let's check out the video settings we have. We're still rocking everything on Ultra. Nothing's changed. Graphic settings for here, same. Display settings. So I do notice that there's a DLSS support. So since this is a graphically intense workload, I think we're gonna give it a go without the DLSS enabled, just to see what kind of frames are we gonna get, and then we'll see how it actually goes. So let's take a look. The Anthem itself is very system hungry game, so it's like Chrome. It's gonna take all your CPU resource, probably gonna steal more than you have in terms of RAM, and will put quite a big task on your hard drive. Well, the game developers have abandoned this game, at least that's what I heard last, so no patches are coming out, the loot is the same, and people basically play this because they bought it, and you know, it's kinda hard to not play the game you paid big money for. Yeah, we'll see, we'll see. So in terms of the 980, we were getting about 40 frames in real world, everything maxed out, and the starting point was kinda like roughly around 50-ish. So we'll see how it looks like. So far we're getting 70 frames, everything is maxed out, the fog is back, everything looks pretty nice. Well, the GPU is chilling at 60% load, so it just goes through all of this. I wonder how it would look like with DLSS, and anyway, we're gonna find it out pretty soon. Dropping, yeah, 55, here we go. 48, 49, okay. Back to something. So clearly all this would be definitely a nice job for DLSS to sort out what the hell is going on here. But so far we're still getting more frames and more stable frames, to be honest, in the same numbers than we got before. So it's time to see the real world. This is gonna be fun. Right, let's go for the free play, the 4 Tarsus, and let's rock and roll here. We have a target to beat of 40 frames, which to be honest is quite, you know, stupid. We obviously will smash the 40 frames. The question is how much more we're gonna smash the 40 frames. And if we're not gonna smash it too well, we're gonna go for DLSS on and see if that helps us. Also, this is graphically challenging game, so some AI here and there might actually help it away. Again, if a 2080 is not enough to run Anthem on full HD, fully maxed out, ask a refund for Anthem. I mean, that's the bottom line, literally. But this is only the second and the last game we have from the badly optimized bunch. So to be honest, I'm not really too worried about the Anthem. If you're buying 2080 to play Anthem, don't. Literally, just do not do it. It's pointless. You are pouring money into a game that is pretty much dead. But hey, if we have it, why not play it?
Back in the field. Starting my pass on incoming reports for any unusual markers.
Keep me updated.
I mean, this is not bad at all. Okay. Let's take for a spin. So we're getting 70s. No actual drops anywhere. At least not yet. Way better than 45. However, we are getting around 60 with 980 as well. So I think we need to actually dip ourselves in some water and put some vegetation around us, just to see how exactly this game will behave once it can take advantage of this card. So far we are actually in high 70s. Occasional 60s, but it's still not below. Ah, here it is. Or there it was. Looks pretty well. Still higher frames than with GTX980, which is fully expected, mind you. But hey. A little frame drip, no stutters so far. Well, to be honest, this game actually kinda does look a bit better now. The processing power of the GPU alone is just pulling all its weight. Superhero landing. Yeah, there's not a sight of 45 frames in anywhere, so... Even in combat with all the flashy moves and everything. Oh my god, you can actually finally play Anthem. All you need is 2080. That is crazy. Oh, there was a drop to 52 frames. I don't know, guys. I don't see any issues with this game. Well, I mean, with the GPU itself. Because all this, absolutely maxed out, without DLSS, with a badly optimized game, I can't really say that I would blame the GPU at any point. I won't. I shall not blame this GPU. It's definitely not the fastest of the bunch, but goddammit, comparison with 980, that's pretty much impossible to compare. And having all these visuals and this game to look like this is just magic. I don't know. This is nice. This is nice. Maybe a bit of CPU overclock would actually help out a bit. But I think it's actually time for us to check out the DLSS stuff. Let's see, will the game require us to actually reboot it? That's a very good question. Apply changes. Moment of truth. No, it doesn't want us to do it. Okay. Can't really say I'm feeling much of a difference. But again, I'm not sure if the game would need to be just fully rebooted for it to take the effect. However, I already see that our frames are in 80s now. Rather before, it was kind of like in the 60s and sometimes even 58. Maybe that DLSS is actually doing something. You know, I think the DLSS is actually working. There's no frame drift anymore. Yep. I'm keeping an eye on the frame counter now, and that was 55. The DLSS has failed us. But anyway, this looks still better than before. Well, in terms of better, I'm looking at the numbers here. That is the only thing I'm kind of curious and what I care about. Some things we even hit 100, and considering everything is absolutely maxed out that you can probably max out, I mean, this is not bad at all. This is not bad at all. I think this is an absolute win for 2080. And let's go for an actual game which is optimized for whatever is coming, and including ray tracing. And of course, that's gonna be the Metro. After I kill this guy. Metro it is. And here we are with the Metro 2033, I think, or 43 or 53. The last light, and time to actually go through the options here. Obviously everything is maxed out, so we have full HD, quality is ultra, vertical sync is off, motion blur is on high, DirectX is 12, Hairworks is on, advanced physics as well, so we're gonna shoot some cans, see how that looks like, tessellation's on as well, texture filtering is at 16, so I do believe that's gonna blow up my PC as well, but hey, it all for the, you know, the best. And yeah, basically nothing really too fancy here. So let's just hit continue there, and we will arrive at the same checkpoint just with the train on a bridge.
The air of the surface seemed incredibly fresh, intoxicating. But that was not what had euphoria. Our journey finally got a definite purpose provided by the transmission from the government bunker in the Urals. For 20 years, we thought that neither the government nor military high command had survived. Turns out they're still around. Where were they while we were eating each other?
Right, so here we are loaded in. So we're using 3 gigs of memory, 6 gigs of RAM, and it's kind of jumping below 60 now. Since everything is on ultra, I do believe we will get some massive stutters. Looks quite pretty, and as you can see, the frame is pretty much inconsistent, so it's not really, I wouldn't say it's staying the same place, so kind of goes up and down pretty much.
What was that?
So let's just see how it goes. Had to play the whole game up until this point, and to be honest, the stutters during the first part of the missions where you need to get the train was actually just nerve-wracking. So the GPU wasn't handling big explosions at all. And here we go, there was a drop. No idea what caused it, but I would really want to do it again so we can see any kind of performance boost. So let's see. I would be pretty happy because you are nagging me the fuck out for the last 45 minutes. That is actually true. Right. Getting some solid 45 frame drop to hit the water, so kind of gonna try to stress the system out a bit here. 50 something. So here we are. So it does look very good, and technically for ultra settings, I mean the CPU usage is not really that high, but the GPU is the one that's actually having a hit here.
Have to go swimming after all. The locals probably get around mainly by boats. I'll climb up there while you take the boat to the church.
Apparently my wife is immune against headshots, which is actually how you find a quality of life, but don't ever try that in your real life. They're getting really pissed after that and they call you names, so try not to do it. Anyway, so we've done this part, and again, let's take a look at 2080. So here we are with Metro Exodus. Let's double check all the options first. So everything is still in Ultra, of course, but how else? NVIDIA RTX off and ray tracing is off. I think we're gonna actually do this as well as part of this, but for now I want to see how, without the RTX and DLSS, how this game actually will run. So let's go for it and see for ourselves.
After all those years in the underground, the air of the surface seemed incredibly fresh, intoxicating. But that was not what had caused the crew's euphoria. Our journey finally got a definite purpose provided by the transmission from the government bunker in the Urals. For 20 years we thought that neither the government nor military high command had survived. Turns out they're still around. Where were they?
It definitely takes a while
time
to
in
load.
the metro. We'll have a lot of questions for them once we reach Yamantau, if we reach it. The ruins of our country are under enemy control, according to Miller, and we'll have to fight through to our goal. A small team against the occupation armies? What are the chances that we'll succeed? That we'll get some answers?
The exposition of this game, every time you load the same checkpoint, you kind of know the story by heart. But oh well. I really hope the numbers at the bottom right actually doesn't mean that the game is trying to re-render everything. I mean, the GPU usage is actually doing nothing. It's chilling, like kind of like on an idle clock now. 700 MHz, 675. I think it's actually pre-rendering the game level. Well, again, since this GPU has never seen this game or this system before, obviously it needs to pre-cache some of the things, so here we are, and let's take a look. Okay, my first question is, why are we frame locked on 60 frames? Also, we are right here, which is kind of weird. But why are we frame locked? Vertical sync was off, or am I completely wrong? Nope, it's off. Huh. This is very interesting. To be honest, I really don't have an explanation for this.
I'll climb up there while you take the boat to the church.
And even at this, the GPU itself is literally, what, doing 50% on the load?
Break a leg.
It's so responsive, there's literally no lags, no stutters. Just look at this. There's not a single dip from 60. I'm sorry for all the people who's gonna now spasm into oblivion, but there wasn't a single frame drop while absolutely viciously just spinning around. This is what it means to have very well optimized game instead of the Anthem or Breakpoint, or even both together. I don't know, maybe the game actually figured out that my TV is unable to produce more than 60 frames and just locked itself. But that was never the case with 980. There must be some witchcraft involved. So talking about the witchcraft, I think it's time for us to enable the DLSS and all the RTX goodies and take a look again. So see you in a bit. So here we are back again, and let me just show you what I changed. And basically I enabled RTX. I could not make the DLSS work. Every time I enable it and try to apply the setting, it turns off. So maybe something somewhere is not really, you know, catching on. So RTX is on, ray tracing is on ultra, advanced physics is on, obviously. Everything is, well, pegged out as much as I could. And the frames are, well, actually above 60 without me touching anything. Look at this stuff. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. You can literally see some little water thingies kind of like running down the train itself, which I'm pretty sure wasn't there if we would play with RTX off. I might actually go back and double check that myself. But let's take a look.
Serve the enemy. Enslaved or something.
And the frames we're getting are what? Way above 60. This is not bad at all. This is absolutely not bad at all.
That was great.
Well, this was bad. Apparently I got a bit more overexcited and just jumped down instead of actually just sliding down as the game wants me to. But here we are. It's not about how you play the game, it's about finding all the game glitches. Everyone jumps off from the side of the things in Russia. I mean, don't even try to tell me otherwise. And here we are. Perfect.
And those guys.
And yeah, the moment the
Like army men at all.
GPU catches on,
Just old men.
way above 60. Okay, all the people who are about to spasm out of existence. Nope, still no glitches, no artifacts, nothing. I mean, this is hard to get. I mean, in terms of the programming itself, this is not bad at all.
Enslaved or something.
So butter smooth, and way above 60. I mean,
That was great.
I think we could easily play this on 4K, because technically the moment we would actually do it on 4K, it would just halve our frame rate. So instead of having about what, 80, we would probably have about 45, 50, and it's still not bad. This is not really the fast-paced competitive game you would expect to see, like Counter-Strike or Apex Legends or stuff like that, so this is absolutely fine.
Artyom, don't wander off. What would you do if some beast came and ate you?
Absolute beautiful, and we're only using 4 gigs of memory. Exactly the same amount that the 980 was using, well, minus about 100 megs, but the frames, well, we could not actually get 80, 90 frames here, so this is another win. So I would say the Metro on 980 was roughly about 50 frames in real time, and I would give this at least stable 80 considering all the things. So here we go, just running around a lot of reflective surfaces, 80 far, so I think this is very good. Next stop, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I cannot wait to see how that performs. And of course, there's no way we can just end these tests without the biggest and baddest game breaker at all times, or hardware breaker, to be honest. I'm kind of confused at this point as well. So it's of course the Microsoft Flight Simulator. So let's go into the options and take a look how we have everything set up. Graphics, so Full HD, obviously. Global rendering quality on Ultra. Vertical sync is off. Render scaling, well, to be honest, these Ultra settings, I don't think the 980 will actually be very happy about them anyway, so let's just leave the render scaling at 100. And everything else is basically all the sliders to the right as much as I could, and here we are. So high, whatever. Shadow maps is like very ultra, whatever that means. I haven't really checked this. Also, if I turn on the lens correction, which is off for whatever reason, it actually goes from ultra to custom, and I don't like seeing custom things here. So there we are. So let's go and let's just go for a flight here. And departure airport. Probably Edinburgh, and let's head on to Glasgow. And as arrival. Sounds about right. Flight conditions, I want day. Day. Clear skies, presets. Yeah. Aha. This looks very good. I'm happy. This looks very good. Okay, cool. So let's just do this. At least now I will see where we can fly. And of course, let's see how long it's gonna take us to load up everything on Ultra. And so far, actually, well, we're hitting like what, 13? 0 frames? Great. 1 frame, that's a lot. 7 frames, that's enough. 9, 1. I mean, it's not a shooter, you don't actually need all those frames. Oh boy. If I'm gonna see smoke coming out of my 980, well, we will still continue. For science. And the gamer hood. Or brother, I mean, well, whatever, you get a point. I'm just bored doing these loading screens because, you know, it's like, it's kind of boring to see them. Either way, we have to do this, so I will try to do a takeoff, fly a bit, and that's about it. So as soon as I'm gonna get in a decent distance away from the airport, that's gonna be it, because we can fly all the way, but that's not really what we're here after. It's just to see the frames for 980, everything maxed out, and then see how the 2080 actually does. And it's still loading, and we are hitting 4 gigs of VRAM already. And the loading screen actually gives us 54. This is not bad. It's actually way better than I expected, and it's hogging up 14 gigs of of RAM. Oh my goodness. Oh dear Lord, help us. This is crazy. I only have 16, and I do believe the Windows itself actually chucks down at least 2.5. Oh damn. Okay.
Edinburgh Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra ready for departure to the west at runway 30.
This is stuttering. Look at this. Frame drips. Okay, we're ready to fly. I'm not gonna torture this poor graphics card too much. Oh my god, so we have like what, 24, 22, 23 frames just sitting in a cockpit. Oh wait, if I look at the dials, we actually get like 30. That is good enough. Okay. That looks like overstay hotel for the crew. Okay, anyway, off we go. So, engines to the max, parking brake off. And 20, oh. Well, to be honest, I'm not surprised. We kind of saw this happen already. What the hell? Ah, I forgot that I actually need to take up using these thingies here.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, you are leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Yeah, let's pick up the flaps. Bring down some throttle level. I would actually go with what? Hello? No, this should be enough. And we're in deep descent, which is not good for whichever aircraft you're trying to fly. Let me just quickly correct that. Using keyboard as a steering in flight simulators is just not good. Honestly, do not do that at all. Oh, we have to pick up the landing gear, which should be here. Thank you. Now getting that extra drag get us down, right? Oh boy. Now without extra drag, the plane is not really happy. Ah, well, happens. It now makes 2 of us, buddy, so it's okay. I really want a joystick or at least a HOTAS key. I think my airspeed is actually not where it's supposed to be. We're like 25 frames. This honestly is not really the best thing I can imagine, because this is still full HD. Okay, let's try to level this birdie a bit. Bit more power, just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit, come on. Come on, work with me. Work with me, plane. We can get through this. Okay, here we go. I just need to level it out a bit. Easy on the yoke. Yeah, this actually looks pretty decent. It's actually much easier in an actual airplane, but well, you know. Anyway, let's see if we can cycle the cameras here. No need for landing gear, we're actually fine. What are you on about? Landing gear's up. Looks like we will actually soon need landing gear. Okay, banking a bit too hard here. I honestly have no idea what it wants from me anyway. Wait, what? The flaps are... I might have made a little bit problem by not pulling up the flaps. That's an easy fix. Yeah, that doesn't really sound like stall to me, but anyway. Just need to get a bit of airspeed here, and I need to actually see where I'm flying. Like, sorry, going for that Cobra maneuver here. Oh well, apparently I'm just going for my T. Great, now let's see how the 2080 is actually dealing with this, and hopefully my skills will get better because yeah, trying to gain airspeed with flaps down is actually pretty stupid, so please don't do that. And transition. So here we are in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I think it's time to find out, will we beat 8 to 15 frames as we got with our 980, or will it actually be the same? Do keep in mind, this game is so taxing that it actually brought down 2080 Ti on its knees, barely pushing out 35 frames per second, everything maxed out. Not even talking about 4K here. The 3080 and 3090 kind of fared a bit better, and by a bit better I would say, well, they kind of produce stable 58 to 60 frames and a bit above, roughly dropping down to 35 frames in 4K. But that's not what we're here to see. So I'm very, very curious how all this will actually, you know, crunch the numbers. Of course, the almighty loading screen, we cannot go anywhere without him. He always follows us around, doesn't matter where we go. I must say, so far the game itself is not really disappointed me. The graphics card, it's amazing. I mean, you can definitely find this for a really good bargain nowadays because people are just selling their 20 series, just trying to get a bit more money for the 3080. And if you can actually land a good price on this, and you only game in full HD without going to 4040p, well, I would say that might be a pretty decent investment. Or just wait until the NVIDIA actually, or all the manufacturers, restocks 3080 and just get that for absolute ultimate future proofing. However, your power supply requirements and everything else will change, and honestly, there's a separate topic. Do you need an overkill card if you are only playing with full HD? See, when the gaming actually comes to upscaling and playing in upscaled resolutions, it's never gonna be the same as playing in native 2K or native 4K resolutions. So if you, well, have the same problem as me, is that I'm bound to my TV with full HD resolution, this card might actually be too much. However, it's still welcome in my rig. And of course, it's trying to crunch the numbers. GPU usage just went up. It's trying to understand what is this game, what it supports. And again, all the settings are the same as from 980. So this is gonna be pretty interesting. So we got about 8 to 15 frames while sitting on the ground in a cockpit alone, and roughly about 20 to 25 with dips to 1 while being up in the air and with a spectacular crash. I'm not gonna blame well, technically the frames for me crashing. It was kind of me not paying attention to flaps being down all the way while trying to take off, because that is a really bad move in every pilot's textbook or checklist, call it as you want. But I'm really curious. Anyway, leave your comments and your thoughts down below. What do you think about this card? Would you actually cash out to get this in your rig? and can you see the potential for it? I do believe your choice will be highly dependent on the games you play, like if you're playing Battlefield or something like that. This game will crush it on 4K anyway. I've seen that on YouTube. Well, I technically could test it, but I don't know. Unless I have a request from you guys, I'm not gonna do it because I've seen the performance. I've been pretty much following all these games and graphics cards anyway. So let's go for the options and take a look. What do we have? So everything is on Ultra, obviously, and nothing really we can, well, anti-aliasing is still there. Oh, what is this? Current data consumption. Ah, that is fine. I don't care about that. So there's not really much here to do. Ultra. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely fine. So I think it's time for us to actually go and, you know, fly somewhere. Flight conditions. Give me something with a daytime, please. This looks about right. Plane, yeah, the same one. At least I know how to take off with it. And our stuff will be same as before. Edinburgh as departure, going to Glasgow. Hopefully we're not gonna crash in between. So let's go. As some people say, the real test begins only now. So let's take a look. We have the target to beat of 8 to 15 frames while sitting in a cockpit. Well, currently we're seeing 4 and 9 and 3, so oh boy. I have faith in this GPU. Obviously it's gonna crash this as well. I mean, we're talking about 110% increase in performance across the board. Reflections, sun shadows, usual shadows, draw distance, shaders, models. I mean, the whole shebang. Whatever you want, it's faster and better and much newer process. It's even a different chip, obviously, so hey. But if it actually gets the same frames, well, here we go. That's the point of this channel, to actually have non-biased results and not cut out all the bad bits and stutters of the game, but leave it as it is. Blame my rig, everything else. I mean, I wouldn't even be too surprised considering the things that are on it that might actually crash the games here and then, but not like all of us are saints, are we? And here we go. Almost. Nearly there. So the next GPU I believe I'm gonna have my hands on is obviously a 1660. I'm not sure if it was 6060 Ti or non-Ti version, but we'll get there eventually. Or maybe not. I take things as they come. And again, I was just looking forward to this card more than anything else. But for budget gaming, 1660 would be a good card as well.
Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra ready for departure to the west at runway 30.
Okay, so far the frames are actually jumping up and down, but the GPU load is not really high. You can actually see it's not even hitting like 80%. So it's not too bad. Okay, I'm ready to fly. Let's take a look. Oh, this was actually too fast. Right, so we have 37, 32 frames just sitting in a cockpit alone. So we are actually on a 30 level, which is completely expected. This is basically what all high-end graphics cards were squeezing out, including 2080s and 2080 Ti. So this is absolutely not bad at all. Now let's try not to crash. So here we go. I know the real pilots are probably face palming like, what the hell, you don't actually just smash your engines in the highest, but you know what? Luckily I'm not carrying any passengers. I might be actually employed by Red Bull, so a bit of things might go astray here. Let's keep a steady climb, get that gear up, and remember to take up flaps. Let's not kill our engines and enjoy everything else. And we are still within the 30 frame bracket, which is absolutely expected for this game. I mean, that's exactly how it goes. And it's looking beautiful. Absolutely nice. No complaints across the board. Copy that, tower. We are kind of like going into the ground, so I need to go back to the cockpit here. I'll copy. Right, so let's bank a bit, just to enjoy the scenery. I mean, this is the proof. Like, literally, you cannot compare these two cards anymore. The 980 is still good for, I would say, medium to high settings, but to play something on ultra, I think the King needs to retire, or at least take it a bit more easier than before. Yeah, I'm kinda bored to even answer the guy. Anyway, let's not do a spectacular crash this time. Just for the sake of video, obviously, so it's time to get a bit more altitude here. And an actual yoke would be very beneficial for me, but hey, what can I say? Playing with a keyboard is a chore. Don't believe me? Try it yourself. I'm actually happy I can actually keep this bucket of bolts up and running. But anyway, we are getting pretty decent frames, and as you can see, the GPU usage actually sitting on 47%. So at this point, I'm not entirely sure if we are not actually bottlenecked by the CPU. It could be the same case in the previous title, like for instance the Breakpoint. But since Breakpoint is just a Ubisoft title, I'm not considering really that like a big thing to do anyway. Anyway, I think this kind of concludes our, well, benchmark and review of this card. Yeah, thank you. Well, basically I'm outside his range anyway. So let me know what game you want to see next, what resolution, or should I try to actually overclock my CPU a bit and do some other tests while being at it for the duration of having this card, which is only for this week. So I kind of need to squeeze out as much as I can. And as always, thanks for watching, and hey guys, stay classic.